position players replacing one of the most prolific rushers in the history of the ACC, right at the top of the list in regards to scoring and rushing. Travis Etienne, most of college football familiar with Lynn J Dixon, but he doesn't necessarily come across to me as somebody who can carry the load week in, week out.
Yeah, well, Dixon is a senior, and he only had 190 yards rushing last year, but you really have to put last year's rushing stats into perspective. Shorter season, obviously, than usual for the Tigers, but also the offensive line really struggled. His freshman and sophomore seasons, he was really great. His freshman year, he had 547 yards and averaged 8.8 yards per carry. So he had a pretty big freshman year. Sophomore year, saw a little bit more time, had 635 yards rushing. Yards per carry came to a more reasonable, but still excellent 6.1 yards per carry. Last year he struggled. He didn't take a step forward, but it's just with the weird COVID year and the struggles on the offensive line, it's just really hard to evaluate this pack of running backs. I think Dixon, who had 4.5 yards per carry, it seems like he regressed, but I'm hesitant to put too much stock into what was a weird and smaller sample last season. He should get the first opportunity to be top of the depth chart, but I don't think I don't think anyone's expecting the depth chart to play out like it did last year, in which the top running back's really a bell cow. So he enters camp as the number one, but I think number one means something very different this year than last year.
Chez Mellusi saw the field a little bit, got his taste of action, 3 touchdowns. But everybody's talking about, for one, on the negative side, DeMarcus Bowman getting away, transferring to Florida. On the positive, of course, Will Shipley coming to camp.
Yeah. I thought Mellusi looked really good. I think he could be like a 1B and maybe even move up from there. I'm excited about him. The freshman you reference, Will Shipley, he was a top running back. He gets Christian McCaffrey comps. I think as a freshman, he'll be more of a, I don't want to pigeonhole him as a scat back, but I could see him chipping away at what the Tigers will have to do to replace all of Travis Etienne's nearly 600 receiving yards. I think Shipley could potentially get involved in that. It's tough to project anything with freshman running backs because pass protection is such a big part of who actually sees the field. And you don't really get that from high school tape. But Shipley's got a ton of upside. The other freshman that has been getting a lot of attention this as spring's rolling on is Phil Maffa from suburban Atlanta, from Loganville. Big dude, really kind of a power back. So this is a very crowded running back room. I don't know how many snaps are going to go to true freshmen with the veteran talent ahead of them, but I think people are very excited about both freshmen.
Yeah, Shipley, the second-rated player in the state of North Carolina, first-rated player as an all-purpose back in the nation. And Maffa, as you state, Shipley's a guy that, being on social media, I seem to hear about him every other day during the battle between Notre Dame and Clemson. And Maffa, a guy that the more I talk to Clemson people that followed the team, they're excited about him emerging as well, even though there wasn't as much excitement and hoopla concerning his recruitment. He's out of Georgia as the 8th rated running back in the country, according to 247 Sports.